Prince Andrew, Freeloader. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The problems continue to mount up for Prince Andrew. Hitherto, he had a reputation for being a boorish and unpleasant man, arrogant, haughty, dismissive. Somebody that enjoyed trotting around the globe as a consequence of taxpayers' expense, partying and chasing skirt. He was implicated in dodgy deals, and latterly things have taken a particular downturn with regard to the allegations that were made by Virginia Giuffre and also his connection with Jeffrey Epstein, add on which the connection with the Chinese spy. This resulted in him having to step back from royal life and agree in a situation of essentially being told that his titles will be held in abeyance. This is all problematic for a narcissist such as Prince Andrew, but then along comes more information, and he is the type of buffoon whereby there is undoubtedly a tidal wave of poor behaviours where just some of it has been breaching the dam so far, and one suspects there'll come a point where the dam will burst and a torrent of shit will flow over him. The fact is that as a narcissist in a position of privilege that he has had as a member of the royal family, one who has acted with complete impunity, he will have created so many instances of poor behaviour that hitherto, by virtue of his status as Prince Andrew, were swept under the carpet, that were kept hidden, that were hushed up. The rumours and the gossip about him stayed more in the realms of, it's Randy Andy. He likes the girls, he likes the women, he likes a drink, but that's it. And people largely went along with that image because there wasn't any other evidence to support the despicable and dodgy behaviours that he is engaged in. But as the type of narcissist that he is, an entirely superficial one, who has found himself, by accident of birth, catapulted into a position of considerable privilege, whereby he's able to do what he wants, and it has a small army of people covering up his messes thereafter, it creates in him and enhances his own narcissistic concept of invincibility, that he can do whatever he wants because he's Prince Andrew. And what are you going to do about it? Nothing, because I'm Prince Andrew. And thus, with regard to the way that he has treated people, the way that he has acted, the way that he has conducted himself, this means that time and time again, he has created a litany of issues in respect of dodgy dealings, dodgy behaviours, and dodgy interactions that have started to pile up, and the dam has not been able to hold all of them back. Little by little they have leaked, and the latest instance of this is to demonstrate what a freeloader he is. As per a report by Tom Witherow in the Times, Prince Andrew has not paid rent on his Grace and Favour mansion on the Windsor estate for 2 decades. The Times obtained a copy of the leasehold agreement for Royal Lodge, revealing the terms under which the Prince lives on the 30-room estate. It states that while the Prince paid £1 million for the lease, plus at least £7.5 million for refurbishments completed in 2005, query, where did he get the money for all of that? He has paid 1 peppercorn, if demanded, in rent per year since 2003. Accordingly, this man, who was implicated in the sexual abuse of a minor, who has repeatedly been called out for his entitled behaviours as Air Miles Andy, that he's been globetrotting on the taxpayer's dime, that he has a questionable behaviour in relation to the treatment of staff and the treatment of women, also has been living in a plush accommodation at the Royal Lodge in Windsor Great Park, paying just a nominal rent, namely a peppercorn. He and his family are entitled to live in the property until 2078. Robert Jenrick became the first front-bench politician to call for the prince to leave the 7-bedroom mansion after the revelations. The Shadow Justice Secretary said the public was sick of Andrew, who should make his own way in life. The prince's agreement also includes a clause stating that the Crown Estate, which manages Crown properties for the benefit of the taxpayer, would need to pay him around £558,000 if he gave up the lease. A compensatory sum of £185,865 a year would be due to Andrew until he reached year 25 of the agreement, which is 2028. The Crown Estate disclosed an unredacted version of the lease to the Times after demands from MPs and campaigners. Last Friday, Andrew was forced to relinquish all his titles, including the Duke of York and Knight of the Garter, after his friendship with the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein threatened to overshadow the reign of his brother, the King. It's no surprise to find that he is a freeloader. It's no surprise whatsoever. This goes with his sense of entitlement and his belief that he should be afforded special treatment. This is part of his narcissism. You might argue, well, he's a prince, so doesn't that mean that he would expect special treatment? Even if he wasn't one, he would expect special treatment because of his narcissism. All that happens is that because he was born a prince, as I mentioned, is just an accident of birth, his already rampant sense of entitlement is taken up a few notches by virtue of the provision of this status. He believes that he should be able to live in this property and that he should be able to live there on the terms that have been agreed under this very favourable lease, which of course many people would find disgusting given their own difficulties in relation to dealing with the cost of living at the current time. But it's no surprise that this buffoon behaves this way. After all, he is completely oblivious and is one of the least self-aware individuals that you might have the misfortune to meet. After all, this is the man, when he was interviewed by Emily Maitlis, referred to the conduct of Jeffrey Epstein as unbecoming, to which Emily Maitlis said he was a sex offender. If in your mind a convicted sex offender engages in unbecoming behaviour, then that demonstrates that it's not just that your moral compass is entirely skewed, you don't have one. It would be akin to turning around and saying that Pol Pot was a bit of a scallywag, that Idi Amin was something of a rascal for behaving in such a way. But he determines that a convicted sex offender, his behaviour was unbecoming. And that shows the mindset of this man, that he truly doesn't see that there's anything wrong with him continuing to live in this large property, a 7-bedroom mansion, and not paying anything for it. He believes that he should be entitled to it. He doesn't see that there's anything wrong with him continuing to stay there. He believes that this is somewhere that he should stay because of who he is, irrespective of the way that he has behaved. He still does not recognise the gravity of his behaviour. His narcissism continues to cause him to deny what he's accused of, and furthermore, even in instances where there is clear evidence of poor behaviour on the part of Prince Andrew, he simply doesn't understand or accept that he should be treated in the way that he does. He has only gone along with the abeyance of the titles because it's enabled him so far to stay in this property. Were that not the case, he would have probably fought harder against it. But he didn't do it out of any sense of honour. He did it out of self-interest. He has been a perpetual freeloader, obtaining transport, which was costly, through helicopters and aeroplanes when he perhaps could have used a car. The fact that he's gone round the globe as a supposed special trade envoy, whereby he has had his accommodation, his transport, the parties all paid for by taxpayers' money. that he has this parasitic lifestyle whereby he now contributes nothing but continues to enjoy living in a grace and favour mansion. His freeloader mentality is straight out of his narcissism, and once again you're able to understand why he behaves as he does. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.